Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Justin Valencia, better known to the internet world as Sick Mexican. I've wrestled from 2002 to 2012. I've been featured on many gore sites such as steakandcheese.com and many other gore sites with violence and all that stupid shit. So anyway, today my guest today is the guy who started it all in the Philadelphia area, the one, the only Christian Ross, Chris Conit. Today
That's right.
my guest today is the guy who started it all in the Philadelphia area, the one, the only Christian Ross.
I hear an echo, Justin.
Yeah, I know I did too. What's going on here?
I don't know. I heard you echoing, but what's
I think
going
we're
on,
good
ladies
now,
and
right?
gentlemen? No, you're good now. We're back. We're back good.
Yeah,
We're back
we're
good.
back live.
Anyways, yeah.
So back as I was saying, let me get some history on Christian Ross. We've been friends for a while. He started the wrestling movement with his company WWW that had many superstars as Dangerous. Who else was on
That's
there? Tank,
correct. Fabulous Frank, and,
Fabulous Frank.
and probably the biggest, and probably one of the biggest ones to come out of there was probably Greatness.
The Greatness, yeah.
Which ironically, Greatness and I was kind of like the Stone Cold and Rock of the WWW. And ironically, when I debuted on the scene in XBW, that was my first match too.
Yeah,
And the history kind of behind me and Greatness was we were like this ongoing feud with Rock Austin. Around that time, the Attitude Era was going
yeah.
on.
You guys
And,
always had
and
that. I remember that. You're right.
yeah, and the crazy part about it is that we were best friends outside of the ring. And the sweet part about it was after WWW just like folded, you know how like PY companies go into like seasons, and then they fold, and you got to hope they come back up. Well, Greatness was continuing doing this stuff, and he was at my house. We were on the computer showing me his matches and all this. I'm like, dude, that's friggin' sweet, dude. That's sweet. I was like, how do you get involved? He's like, oh, I'll talk to the guys for you, but you know how some guys are. In all good-hearted spirit, I'm pretty sure he was looking out for me, but ironically enough, I run into none other than the sick Mexican, you, Justin Valencia, at Rite Aid on my corner. And the cool thing about it was I was like, yo, dude, I haven't seen you in a while. But I seen your videos and stuff, dude. Like, you guys are running shows and all that. How can I get involved? What's your number? And then we're off to the races.
That's
We're
right. I
off to
remember
the
that.
races. Yeah. And the crazy part about it is I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on. So I get a hold of you, get a hold of Greatness or whatever. You guys are finally moving over to a ring, and it was SRWC. You guys, I believe this was your second show there. And I got booked on the card, and ironically enough, I get booked against Greatness or whatever. And I was just happy just to be there at the time. I didn't care if I was going over, if I was losing. And the match sucked. Trust me, I thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but the match was horrible. But ironically enough, I got a big pop when I came out. I got the overrated pop that I used to get at WWW. People still knew who I was. And a week before that show, I actually linked up with you. I cut a promo on the world champion at the time, Gar, which we'll get into. There's a lot of rocky situations with that, but we'll get into it. Good guy, to say the least. And he's the guy you want to be in a program with because he was the Shawn Michaels of the company at the time. Cut a promo on him. Long story short, he cost me my match with Greatness. He super kicks me. Chris Conan's off to the races.
That was actually a SRWC show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe you wrestled Stan. That's the time that you almost broke your neck. He threw you on your neck, or
Yeah,
the
people still ask me about that till this day, but I mean,
you hear the click pop in the video. I recently watched that. You hear when you took the backdrop, you hear the click. Now, I guess you're interviewing me, but I want to interview you real quick. I want to ask you a question.
sure.
You guys took it home after that. Was that a work or was that planned?
Well, no, like when he dropped me on my head, that was I couldn't, I just wanted to end it right there. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was gonna pass out, honestly, but I mean, I thought it was overall a decent match.
Yeah, I mean, you were like, from what I seen, like you and Gar was like XBW's bread and butter. Like even if you guys tried to be heels, you guys couldn't be because you guys were just loved. Like you guys were likable characters that people just loved to cheer you guys. And I wanted that. Like that was like a turn on. I was like, that's awesome. Like these guys are over. Like this is amazing. You know what I mean? And just like the atmosphere, being back in it. You guys had a crowd. WWE never had a crowd. Just everything about you guys just made me want to be a part of it at that point.
That's right. We did have a large following, you know, promoting it on YouTube and all that
And
stuff.
and think about this: if I would have never ran into you at Rite Aid, Chris Conit, the character, would have never took off.
That's
How
right.
easy if that is. All this history we're about to talk about today, and that was '05, 11 years ago. My character would have never took off if I never went to Rite Aid on that day.
That's crazy. You know, you bring up that fact, so let's back up a little. So where does this Chris Conant character come from? Like, can you
Well,
elaborate on him?
yeah, here's the Chris Conant character, because not a lot of people know what it is, because it's a generic name. You're just using your name. Where I wanted to base my character from, I'm a huge Brock Lesnar fan. So move sets wise, I wanted to be like Brock. Who don't want to be like Brock? However, my character wise, I wanted to be like Zeus. He was the guy who WWE brought in 1989 to have a run with Hogan. Hogan was killing all these big guys back in the day, and they brought this guy Zeus in, who's an actor. And if you go back and watch him, I do the chest pumps on my chest, I do the raws. Everything is identical to the Zeus. I was the 2000 version of Zeus. However, Zeus couldn't work. He was just an actor, but his character was super over. His one and only match, he main evented with Savage versus Hogan and Beefcake at SummerSlam. So I'm like, I want to be like that guy. That's pretty cool. He was like the Lesnar of that time, but he only wrestled a little bit. So that's where I based my character from.
I like how you compared it to, because you're Chris Conant, and a lot of people actually liked your wrestling skills. A lot of people go, man, this guy's big and he can wrestle. Now I remember when we debuted in LXW, and a lot of people were shocked at like some of the stuff you pulled out. They never seen that before. And
Right.
here again, Chris Conant, you know, this big, the powerhouse. You know, it's just
That's
amazing
correct.
how you work. You know, a lot of people always point that out. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
so going back, how you were saying how Mysterious G and the Sick Mexican character put XBW over. Now, going on the other side, who would you say killed the company?
Ooh, that's a pretty good question. So I got to take it from the history as from when I was there. And I was there in XBW's like glory days when you guys just went over to the ring and then moved all the way up to Tom's ring, like when the company was like huge at the time, like we were blowing up at that time. So a lot of people point the fingers at different people and who killed the company. A lot of people say that I killed the company with my booking. However, it was everybody says it's one of the most exciting seasons they ever seen. Just to elaborate on that a little bit, the Halloween show that was our last show, XW went on after that, but our last show together, you put me in hit of booking or whatever, and everybody liked my ideas. I'm a storyline driven guy, so I want to put everybody in a storyline. So the Halloween show we had, every match had a stipulation match. The world title match was an Iron Man match. Your match was a barefoot thumbtack match. My match was a ladder match. Gar's match was a tables match. I mean, every match had a stipulation, and we were at our peak at that point. And I had the book. I put the belt on Mike, which started the rocky road from there. So, in my opinion, just to be completely honest with you, politics killed the company, and the biggest politic was Steen Styles. Not necessarily saying that he killed the company, but politics will kill your company because you got a lot of people pointing the finger here, and you got a lot of people pointing the finger there. So not necessarily one guy killed the company. Politics killed the company, and Stan's a great guy. I love Stan. I love his character. He's one of the most over characters ever in the BY business, ever. But what comes with that and comes with the territory is opinions. Everybody has a different opinion. Stan voiced his. Stan was strong on his. And that drew negative to the clique that he was with. And some people liked it, some people didn't. But in the essence, we all took a loss because the company folded at that point.
That's right. You know, you bring up how you were head of the booking in XBW, which you were, and a lot of people always say and bring up 2007 was the best season XBW ever had. You know, you had Salt and Pepper, you had Craven, the list goes on and on. But the one thing people bring up is that you were always unfair with Mysterious G. Now, was there heat between you and Mysterious G? And what's the story behind Tabby? Why was she put in gimmicks of them scenarios. You know, a lot of people say, why was this happen? And again, they ask me because I'm associated with XBW, but Christian Ross had the book. So now that you know what was the reason behind the Tabby story?
All right, here's the thing. Tabby, for people who don't know who she is, she was XBW's Golden Boy's Mysterious G's real life girlfriend at the time, and in '05 I was 18 years old, so and she had a kid, so like I was just like, yo, dude, let's do a storyline behind Tabby getting pregnant and then who impregnated her. Now, I got the books. I'm storyline driven. I'm always thinking of a different idea to get somebody over or to keep somebody involved in. Because the thing with backyard wrestling is, right, we got 20 wrestlers, we got 3 belts, you know what I mean? So everybody's going to want a belt. Everybody's not going to be happy because everybody can't get a belt. But if you keep everybody involved in and give them a different story, you're happy. And not only are you happy, the shit's good. You know what I mean? So what happened with me and Gar is that's a real life girlfriend, so there's going to be some tension there. And that kind of started the rocky road there. But that wasn't the real reason with the heat. Actually, the real reason with the heat actually is we were working out at the time, and we signed up to Bally's. And Bally's had to do a 3-year commitment plan. And with the 3-year commitment plan, they automatically withdraw money from your account. So at the time, he was the only person with the card, so he put his information on there. So, you know, when you're working out, you go through spurts where you go to the gym, and then you just periodically just stop, whether it's work or you don't have time to get there or whatever. So after me and another friend stopped going, I didn't want to pay for something that I wasn't using no more. And, you know, it was a little selfish. I was young-minded. And that's where the real heat came from.
Oh, so there was heat between the people in the company. I was never aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, where was the direction of the company going under your book? Where do you think you were going to take us?
Well, here's the thing. We were at our peak, right? We actually, you got a hold of a guy named Tom, and it was out King of Pressure, and got us set up in an elaborate arena, official WWE ring, the whole 9 yards. So now XBW went from just stepping foot in this little ring in Northeast to now we're out in King of Pressure in a WWE ring. So now you throw the book at me like, here's the book, here's the guys, go to work. So I'm like, all right, great. Everybody loved my ideas. And I'm a storyline driven guy. I'm like a writer. So where the direction I wanted to go with the company, since we were starting something fresh, I wanted a fresh face with the belt. So I'm hanging out. It's me, Chris, Baldini known as Sniper, Mike, who's known as Unknown, and Mysterious G, known as Gar. And we're all having a couple drinks. I'm like, the book's on me. I got to write this first show. We need to start off with a bang. Mike's telling me about this new character, the unknown character, that he wants to do this kind of devilish character. And I was like, you know what? With that type of character, you're going to need guys with you. So me and Sniper said, why don't we join the alliance? But in order to make this alliance go over at the time and to start this off with a bang, Stan the Man Styles is hot as piss at this time. He's on fire. If you beat him, you automatically become over. Not only do you become over, Mike, but our group becomes dominant, and we become the dominant faction because you took out this guy who is hot as hell, and now you're the world champion. This group is flaming hot. We're in a fresh arena. It's a fresh start, and I think the company would have did better going that direction because, one, Stan the Man Styles' character doesn't need a title. His gimmick alone can draw. So him with the belt is just extra added features. He doesn't need the belt. He doesn't need it. His character alone gets him over. But Stan Styles was so driven about this belt. Everybody wants to be at the top of the mountain. Everybody wants the world belt. And I completely understand that. It's competition. But the direction I wanted to go, and I wanted to put the belt on somebody whose gimmick wasn't as over, put the belt on him and get that alliance over and rock and roll.
Now, do you think the unknown gimmick worked? Did you think that that's where you got it? That
Well, here's the thing. He pitched a pretty good gimmick to me. It was something different. It wasn't seen in Backyard at the time. It was like an Undertaker type gimmick. And I said, if you put the two guys with you that are like your workhorses, it'd get the gimmick over, kind of like the Shield, kind of like the Wyatts. You got that one main guy, and then you got the workhorses, kind of like the NWO, where you got the Hogan, Nash, and Hall. All them gimmicks worked, and every one of them gimmicks, if you put the belt on that guy, they go from here to here. So yeah, in my mind, it couldn't feel.
I agree. I personally liked the unknown gimmick, but a lot of people thought it wasn't Mike. They thought it was, they thought he didn't fit the character.
Right.
What would you say to that?
Well, here's the thing. When we develop these characters and we come up with these characters, a lot of marks, or smart marks as you call it, will sit behind their computer desk and they'll rip on us if we can't get the character over, but they're not out there performing the character. It's a lot harder once you actually get out there and you try to perform your character in front of people and try to get the character over. Now, I agree with you. The unknown character, Mike had skill sets. Mike was a worker. Mike was a suplex machine. I love Mike's style. His style was Benoit. Chris Benoit with a little bit of angle and a little bit of this guy. I love that style of work. So Mike could work. Now, Mike's character, Mike's promos weren't good. I'm just going to keep it 100. Mike stunk on the mic. He was horrible. He was horrible on the mic. Wasn't that good. However, though, you put him with the workhorses as Chris Conit and Sniper, just as two people there, it kind of takes the attention off his promos and getting his character over, and more in developing the group and getting the group over.
I like it. I totally agree with you. Now, in your words, what would you say happened when that 2007 STMS shoot?
Here's the thing. This was going to be our biggest show of the year at this point. Hardcore Halloween. I'm going to run down the match list on this. It was you and Carson in the Barefoot Thumbtack match. Going to be awesome. It was Mysterious G and Ace in a 2 out of 3 falls tables match. Awesome. It was going to be me, Iron Man title match, versus Thomas in a first ever ladder match. First time ever ladder match. It was the main event also was a 30-minute Iron Man match between Stand Man Styles and the Unknown. A family emergency happened that night. Mike and Gar's parents have cancer. His mom has cancer. Mike could not make the show that date. So what happened was we were in alliance with Sniper and myself. So I was head of booking at the time. I plugged Sniper in the main event and said, listen, Sniper is not super over to beat you Stan one-on-one. However, he gets help by me, and Stan, well, that's not enough. All right, so I got my thinking cap on. I'm the head of creative at this time. Let me swerve everybody. The people are mad Mike's not there. The world champion no-showed the biggest show of the year, right? So what is the creative going to do at this point? Well, I got some up my sleeve. Let's take your number one guy in the company, your babyface, your top guy, Mr. XBW himself, Mysterious G. Let's turn him heel. Let's turn him heel. Nobody will see it. Stan, this will make you a babyface. You'll become the top babyface in the company. This gets the feud off with you and Mike, so Mike can feud with somebody else. And Stan, it took 3 guys to take you out. You look like Hulk Hogan. And on top of all that, Mysterious G is a heel. This is brilliant. Could not feel. Didn't like the idea.
You didn't. Oh wow. See, I actually never sat down and watched that show. Till this day, I've never seen footage of that show.
Well, here's the thing too. Let me elaborate on it because there's a video out. So, Stan doesn't like the idea. All right, he doesn't like the idea. He doesn't want to lose to Chris. He thinks Chris is not over. Whatever the situation is, he just didn't believe in the direction. He wanted the belt back. Chris, you got to throw the belt on me. You're world champion. No show to show. I want the belt again. So once again, it's another Stan Ray where he wants the world title. So I'm like, listen, let's just go a different direction. You know, me and Chris go out to the ring. We're going to debut Mysterious J. We're going to do a three-way match with you and two other wrestlers. We'll totally throw out that match, and we'll push the show back for the later month, and we'll redo the matches. But for right now, we're just going to get by with this. He agrees. Okay? He agrees to it. All right? So, we were shorthanded on people that day. All right?
Yeah, no one showed up.
So to make the match better, the week beforehand, the Greatness won our first ever Money in the Bank in a Battle Royal. I plugged Greatness in just as a character to get the match over, to be the referee. Stan hates it, agrees to it, but goes out to the ring. He shoots. He cuts a promo. He says, I'm leaving. You guys are assholes. I'm burning this company down. XBW is over. Politics again. Policy. Yep.
So this is right when RWS started, if I'm not mistaken. How did you get involved?
That's correct. Give me 1 second, buddy. Hold on. All right, RWS. Kind of funny situation is, we actually all talked on the phone the night the shoot happened. We all talked on the phone. We were at Gar's house drinking, and you know, everybody apologized to everybody. It's BY Wrestling. We went on about our business. So the season's passing now. Jason Cage, who was the on-screen general manager at the time, didn't like the way my booking was going, didn't like the way the direction of the company was going, and he totally was against it. So we're talking on MySpace at the time, and Stan calls me up, saying, hey, can I give you a call? He pitches me this idea of he's been talking to Jason about starting up RWS, which is a company they want to create. And he said to do the debut show, we're going to go out to the Wild Samoans Arena in Allentown and debut in one of the old WWF rings for our first show. So that pitch alone, I was sold. I'm in. I'm in. And then, yeah, they're off to the races. Jason Cage was the owner. Jason Cage was booking it. Actually, RWS was so tight that I didn't know none of the matches. I didn't know the what's going to happen. I didn't know the storyline with him. I didn't know if this guy was debuting. RWS was really, really secluded. Really, really secluded. So it was different, to say the least. It was very different.
Now, who came up with your gimmick? I believe you played a rich guy in RWS?
Yes. I played the JBL type character when JBL came out as the rich guy character. Well, story behind that is we were going to actually set up vignettes. And I was going to show Chris Conit working out at the gym, Chris Conit hitting the lottery, Chris Conit with the girls now, Chris Conit has the car now, Chris Conit has the money now. This is Chris Conit now. Chris Conit's now rich. And I wore the Rolex. I got the women. I toned down my voice. And kind of like a JBL type character. Had the referee open the ropes for me. The character on paper sounded amazing. Great. I'm DiBiase now. Alberto Del Rio. Who doesn't want this character right now? All them guys were over. All them guys were world champion material. Naturally, I wanted the belts. I wanted to build my character up. However, it fell right on my ass. And I'll be the first person to say it. I just didn't fit the character, the gimmick, the clothes, nothing made sense with the character. It was actually my worst character I've ever created. And the thing with RWS was, and this is a total shoot, guys. This is a fucking shoot I'm going to do, guys. RWS was built to give Stan the Man Styles the world title. It was built just to make Stan happy. It was built just so the show can revolve around Stan. Every show was what's next for Stan the Man Styles. And there's nothing wrong with that at all because he was the top guy and that's where the focus went at. But I have fun just working, just wrestling, trying out a new gimmick, and just breezing past. And I had no problem with that. He was the most over guy, the most talented guy on the roster at that point. So yeah, I thought it was pretty sweet. You revolve around the world champion. Like we had a bounty hunt for Stan one time, just for Stan, a bounty hunt. Like he was so over that it was good though. It was good. I enjoyed what I was doing. I just didn't think it was over.
Now, a lot of people say that the same exact thing, word for well, closely word for what you just said. But overall, RWS was a good company. Now, what's the deal with no fans at RWS? I heard fans weren't allowed to come to the shows. Can you elaborate on that?
Here's the thing. Like I said, RWS was really closed in. We didn't do a lot of promoting at all. There was nothing like that going on. The fans was us. So yeah, it was kind of like boring in a way because I kind of like a crowd, you know, and I kind of felt like I was at work again because I felt like if I did the wrong thing, I might not be there the next week or I might get cut. And it was sad because this was the only place to work at the time if you wanted to wrestle. So I kind of just had to go with what was going on at the time, and I loved everybody that was there. Like Cage is fucking awesome. Stan was fucking one of my best friends at the time. Mike was super cool. Gar was there. Eddie Drexler was getting a little push. So this is what I decided to do at the time. Me and Mike, the Unknown, said, well, if this is what it's kind of like, they wanted to go more indie driven. Why don't we join the indie as a tag team? So that very next week, after the first show debuted for RWS, me and Mike, it's a Saturday, go out for a CZW tryout. And during this tryout, 3 people was in WWE, was in or is going to be in WWE. Rich Swann, who's signed to an NXT developmental deal. Adam Cole, who's in the Bullet Club, playing WWE tryouts. And there's one more guy there. It's in WWE now. Who is it? You know, for that tryout thing? I'm trying to think of another guy. Who's that guy? Like Swan, Cole, and who? And Gulak. Drew Gulak.
Yeah, you're right. Gulak.
He's in the Global Cruiserweight tournament. That's going to pop up right now. So, yeah.
Now, I think I read somewhere during your when the RWS season was done and over with, there was an incident where you got locked. You and a buddy got locked up. I never asked you that, but can you elaborate on that, or is that going too deep into your personal life?
Where's the thing? I don't mind talking about whatever. It's totally fine. Things that happen in the past happen for a reason. So yeah, it was an incident where me and a buddy, I won't say no names, but he had a fallout with the girl he was dating that night. We were drinking. Her friend was fallout. Me and a friend that was talking to him. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning, dude. We're hungry. We're drinking. We're hungry. We want to go to Jim's Steaks just to get a cheesesteak. It's the most amazing thing in the world at this point. Across the street from Jim's Steaks, there was a place called Lickety Splits. And I'm like, cool, Lickety Splits is open. The door is open in there. Nobody is there when we get in. So 2 drunk guys inside a pizza place bar. There's bottles and Grey Goose bottles and everything right there for you. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to grab some bottles, dude, like joking around. And we'll leave. 2 Grey Goose bottles in hand. I'm walking out, right, and a guy puts a gun up to my face, and I see my buddy take off, or whatever. And what happens there is he says, "Get on the ground." And it's him and another worker. They were working in the basement, and I get on the ground, and I'll never forget this. God honest truth. He goes, "Give me your hands. I'm going to nail your hands to the ground until the cops come here." And in my head, I'm thinking, like, just fucking kill me at this point. Like, dead serious. Like, that's the worst thing in the world. You're not going to nail my hands to the ground or whatever. And he keeps saying, keep your hands still, keep your hands still. My buddy comes back in through the door at this point, and he goes, and it just throws him off. He goes, "Get on the ground, get on the ground." And I guess the buddy he was with at the time had already called the police. and the police arrived there just in time. And I was actually happy to see them and go in. and and the story gets a little bit more deeper from there. 5 o'clock in the morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, they let me go or whatever. I get released. I have a and get released. I walk home, go to sleep for a couple of hours, probably like 3, 4 in the morning. Call my buddy up, his phone's off. So I'm thinking, all right, when he got let out before me, after me, who knows? His phone's dead. Next day, I call his phone's dead again. So I'm like, what the flip is going on? He's not want to talk to me. Is he mad at me? Monday comes around now. I get people calling me saying, yo, where is Chris? So I don't want to tell people that what happened. So I'm like, I don't know.
You don't want to give his. You don't want to blow his cover. Maybe it's his privacy. So yeah.
Right. Long story short, as I'm gonna fast forward it up, he had to sit in there for a weekend, and for some reason, the charges went on him instead of me. But that's a story for a different day.
Oh wow.
But we can talk about it now. We're best friends still, and we could talk about the story. But I just found it just really weird and just a fun night turned it weird. Put it that way.
Now, through the grapevine, I heard his friends had heat with you over that incident. Not specifically him, but his friends were like, Christian's a jerk off. Christian should have done this. So, I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, here's the thing. If you hear the story from a second person, you're going to think that guy snitched, that guy knew the cops, something along them lines. And as a friend, you're going to be like, I don't like that guy. He did something. Why are you in there and he's out? There's something more to the story that we're missing. But in actuality, that's the true story, and that's what happened.
Well, thank you for elaborating that and taking us into your personal life. But going back to once RWS folded, then UCW came along. How did that start?
All right, UCW, cool. I'm glad we're getting into this. Interesting enough, UCW, right? It actually started with, believe it or not, a guy who actually never wrestled one match for UCW. It started with Chris Sniper and Stan Styles, actually. Stan and I was cool with a guy named Damien, what did he work under? He worked under Damien, the name Damien? Is that what he worked under? The name of UCW?
I forget his name.
He worked under? But,
Psycho D.
I forget what he worked. He's Psycho D's brother. He might have worked under Damien. I forget exactly right now.
I think he was Damien. I'm pretty sure
I think he worked under Damien. I'm pretty sure he worked under Damien. Anyway, Damien was pretty much the owner, and he wanted. EBW was the biggest backyard company in the country. They had guys like Joe Gacy, George W. Balls, Ryan Slater, the Orsinian Portals, Lynch A. Dorados in WWE. All these guys were in one company in a backyard film. To say the least. Great workers. Their editing job was top notch. These guys were the WWE of backyard wrestling. So anyways, I was always a huge fan of them, so was us. When their company folded, half their guys went to Indie, to CZW or whatnot. We merged. We got together with the guys that still wanted to do the BY wrestling. However, for the first day, Sniper and Stan the Man Styles went up to meet Damien, collaborated, showed them the area where they want to use that. Stan actually put the money up out of his own pocket, $3,000, to buy the ring, get the company started. And boom, we're off to the races. Sniper actually told me that it was going to be outside shows, and the Jersey area where we were running, there was ticks. And he said he didn't want to wrestle in that area, so he never ever did a show ever for UCW. I think it's the worst thing he did for his career, because UCW gives pushes to a lot of the guys that weren't quite pushed as well in other feds. So I think it might have been the worst thing he did with his career. But to say the least, UCW was fucking awesome. Really good, really good, really good.
Now, it's funny you brought up that point, because their first world champion was he was known as Sky in the XBW. Now, who came up with that idea and why? Like, like we were going head to head at that point. And I remember my guys were like, Sky won the belt, Sky won the belt, and I thought it was just a joke, like an April Fool's Day joke, but in fact, he was the first ever UCW World Champion.
Mm-hmm. To elaborate on that, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. Right now, UCW every Sunday is running neck and neck with XBW, who just got re-alive again. So it's XBW, UCW every Sunday.
Resurfaced.
Right. So now, right, we're going neck and neck. So we got to do a show called The Big Bang. It's our first show. It's similar to what the King of the Ring tournament is. We're going to have a tournament for the world title. We have a meeting the night before, and I go to the meeting. All votes go on Chris Conit, myself, as winning the world championship title. One person, and it's why WWE works very well, one person who is head of the booking committee, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say on here, but Nick Nightmare, who's known as Gacy, Joe Gacy, he was actually the head booker. Joe Gacy was the head writer of UCW. And Joe Gacy said, Sky, who was the worst worker ever in XBW, the worst worker and gimmick ever, let's throw the belt on him. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing? But this guy's indie, this guy's pro, he knows what the fuck he's doing. And I'm thinking, how the hell can you give Zack Ryder the world championship on your first show? People are going to tune the fuck out. Little did I know the company got huge after that. Do I like the idea? No. But it worked. It sadly worked. It worked.
Now, going back to the pay-per-view, you said the first pay-per-view was a King of the Ring type tournament. The second pay-per-view comes around, and people from your roster were calling me saying, you want Chris Conit. So everyone in XBW thought you got fired. Now, what's the story behind that? Was that a plant? Were you guys trying to plant us, or, can you elaborate?
Here's the thing. So the reason why AJ, who's known as Sky, won the world title is because the first show, they wanted a face to win the world title on the first show. That's the only reason why he ever had the UCW title belt. The only reason. So, all right, cool, give him the belt. It's something different. He's a face. Give him the belt the first show. Cool. Great. Whatever. So, next show's come around. Mysterious G, who's sitting front row, and I see him sitting there front row with his new girlfriend, Luann. I get a second to talk to him. I'm like, yo, Night of Championship pay-per-views in Philadelphia. Jeff Hardy, CM Punk. I want to go to that show. My ride's not going to leave for hours after the show because we got to do promos. Let me catch a ride back with you so I can catch the pay-per-view tonight. Great, no problem, Conit. I'll see you after the match. They're throwing the belt on me at this time. So I win the world title at this point. I win the UCW World Champion. I'm the man now. I'm top heel in the company. I got the faction with me and everything. And after every show in the independents, you got to do promos or you don't get paid for them. So I'm thinking, all right, this is a tape show. We're selling the DVD. I could do promos next week. I could do them from home. I could do them anytime before this DVD ever airs. Let me get to WWE to go watch it. Little did I know that's one of the biggest stabs in the back that you could do in the independents or whatever. So Stand the Man Styles is actually calling you guys up saying, Conit's fired, Conit's fired, Conit's fired. The next day, I'm in Atlantic City. I'm coming over to Toll. I'll never forget this day. I'm on the phone with you. He goes, yo, man, are you a free agent? What's going on with you? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yo, are you a free agent? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I'm getting phone calls up saying, they fired you. You left the show. You didn't do promos. You're not a part of the company no more. So I say, I got the belt in my car. I got the UCW world title in my back seat. You guys running next week? Because I might need a job. And you say, yeah, bring the belt over. I go, all right, no problem. I'll call you back. But by the way, what do you want to do with my character in the belt? we're gonna make a joke out of it and just make you lose it. So it turned me off. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I called Damien up, and I'm like, yo, Damien, what's going on? And Damien's, the owner of the company. I'm like, I get a lot of heat. What's going on? He's like, well, Conit, you missed the promo. It's kind of a big thing. He's cooled me down. He said, listen, take 2 weeks off. You're suspended. And come back during the third week of our beatdown tapings, which are like our Raws. So come back on the third one. Missed the first two. And we'll plug you back in. But you're all right, buddy. You're still with us. And, yeah. And the crazy part about that is if you would have just took my character or the belt a little bit more serious, you would have had me because we didn't do tapings every week. You guys did. I would have been at your show the next week with the title, and we're feuding head-to-head like the Monday Night Wars. We're going neck and neck. Our shows are going on neck and neck. That would have probably made you guys super over if you guys would have knew what to do with it, and got more guys would have followed me and jumped over, and you guys probably would have won the war. That one mistake, I think, lost you guys the war.
Yeah, you're right. In XBW, we always had politics, even when you were in there, as you well know. But one thing, if we could back up for a little, you brought up the winning the world title. Now, is it true your ride, which was another talent in the UCW roster, purposely left you behind when you were supposed to win the belt?
Give me 1 second, buddy. Give me 1 second, buddy.
Take your time. While I plug my podcast. If you like what you see, you know what I mean, tune in, give us some ratings. We're going to try to get some other previous Backyard Wrestling members and, other people in here. Let me know who you would want to watch and so on.
Yep, just grabbing a light real quick and then...
I'm going to try to get DB1 on here. Maybe Tom. We get Tom.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man. That'd be really, really...
We have Jason Cage on here probably next week or so.
Yeah, Cage will be on here next week, guys. It's a coming out story. I'm not going to really elaborate, but there's a lot of heat stories that we're going to talk about, too, and I'm going to spoil you with a couple questions real quick. We're going to go behind the scenes on RWS, couple character building, what he thought about this, what he thought about that, the AJ situation, really big, why Jason Cage is not wrestling, and has Jason Cage had a boyfriend in the last 10 years, 5 years, 1 year? How long has he actually been coming out for? And we're gonna go deep, and I respect Jason Cage for that a lot. It's hard nowadays to just come out, and especially with a business like the wrestling business like that too, where there's a lot majority of men around too. Totally respect him for that, and I can't wait to have him on the show.
So
go ahead, what was your question?
So back to our shoot. Now I heard when the day you were supposed to win the UCW World Title, another talent actually ditched you. Like
yeah. Just rewind the tapes up a little bit. Yeah. That damn supposed to win the world title belt. All right. And this is crazy because the guy who ditched me is Stan Styles. He was my car ride. He was my ride every week. It was 4 of us that drove in the car. And as I elaborated a little bit earlier, Stan's passionate about wrestling business in itself. He's very, very passionate. And one thing that drives Stan is winning the world title. And Stan to this point was never in a situation where somebody else was getting more over than him at the time. So a lot of people react different. I probably would have reacted in a similar fashion, maybe not that fashion, but a similar fashion if I'm used to having something and then I have the complete opposites going on in my character. So, I mean, when you have the world title, you get heat. I mean, because the focus is on you. You're the centerfold of the show. You're the guy. You're the man. Just like Roman. Roman's getting booed out his ass every weekend, week out, every arena he goes in, but he's the man. They put the belt on him, and it comes with the territory, man. It comes when you have the belt, and you're the world champion, you're the man at the time. The company says you're the guy. That's what happens.
Now, didn't you meet your first love there, or one of your loves?
Yeah, I wouldn't say first, dude. I'm kind of a pimp on the low. But let me explain this situation, right? We had a guy there similar to Xavier Woods. I think his wrestling name was Chris Cross. Or something similar to like that. But anyways, he was like a glorified jobber, and he was an opening match guy who got squashed. He wasn't that over on the roster. So anyways, I'm in the locker room. I'm the world heavyweight champion. I got the belt on me. I'm driving the Benz, and there's this chick there that he brought there, and I'm just like saying, "Hey, you came here with him? Yeah, I just met him. Blah 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 blah." And we're getting closer, and we're talking, and one thing leads to another. I get her phone number. She stops talking to him. They weren't really talking, but they just met like the night before, and he brought her to the wrestling show. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. Me and him are good friends now. It was a little bit of heat during that time, but we're good now. We're good.
Glad you could have elaborated that for us. So now, when UCW folded, I seen you doing some indie shows here and there, and then I see you pop up at LCW in Lancaster. You were super over, which is what I don't get. They only used you for 2 shows. Why was that?
Well, here's the thing with LCW. LCW at the time, me and you actually did our debut show there. Super over, putting over your G4 TV. My character, I would throw my clothes in the arena. The kids would run. People had signs. The first time ever I go to a show, and I see signs with our names on the signs. We were the biggest attractions there. We drew the crowd. We were the loudest pop. We were the main event, even if we weren't the main event there. So we go to LCW. It's Hardcore Showdown. You're known for your hardcore matches, your fluorescent light tubes, and Chris Conit. You throw Chris Conit in a match like that, and it's cold. And we got 2 other workers, and one worker was Monoxide, who's over as a baby, but he wasn't a great worker. And you got Antichrist. If he could stay off the drugs, he would be a great wrestler. So you throw us 4 in a match, and it's a 5-star match, 4 or 5-star match. It gets over with fire. There's thumbtacks. There's tables. Conit's getting hit with light tubes. You're getting hit with light tube. The match is over. However, before the show, we like to do what we call pre-gaming. And me and you like taking long road trips when we're on the road doing our shows. So plug in one of these guys, give it to a couple of the workers there, and their show was yes, it is. Their show is a PG show, which I didn't know. So we're cursing up a storm.
I think Chris Conit is off there.